Hello, Ale here with another video, and today we're going to talk about the Facebook ads for hotels, which is going to be, by the way, the first one of a mini series of video. Because for obvious reason, I've been the target, meaning that I've been receiving many messages and many sponsored messages, sponsored posts by hotels on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and all the Facebook network. For obvious reason, in the sense that I work within the hotel industry, I work for the hotel industry, and therefore I happen to visit many hotel websites on a daily basis and many Facebook pages on a daily basis. And therefore Facebook identifies me as one individual who may be potentially interested in hotels. And therefore hotels might be interested in, targeting and sending out messages targeting people like me. In the last week, I've been receiving quite many of these messages, meaning I've been receiving many sponsored ads, sponsored messages on Facebook, and I've seen many different different ways of doing ads on Facebook. Some good examples, some bad examples, and that's why I've been considering shooting this video, actually this series of videos showing both the bad and the good examples. And today I'm going to be starting with the bad examples, meaning I'm going to be showing you one hotel who happened to target me, to send me a few messages via Facebook ads, and actually was not really good. And the reason why I'm starting with a bad example is because, unfortunately, it's way easier to run into bad example as opposed to good example, especially in these times, post-pandemic times. Alright, so the first hotel, and like I said, next time we're going to be seeing some good example instead. The first hotel, so the first message that I receive is this hotel now. This is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, there is no really, there is no need to get into very deep analysis about, this ad to say that this ad is totally wrong for many different reasons. Well, first of all, the images are wrong. Two things. Wrongly cropped images, alright? So in the sense that, of course, you see two images, and I mean, especially the first one, I mainly see the ceiling of a room rather than the bed, which makes totally no sense. This is because probably the hotel didn't adapt it and didn't crop the image manually, respectively, for the placement, alright? So this is how I've seen it on my mobile phone, alright? And it's actually, by the way, I've checked this also on a desktop computer, and it was exactly the same. So besides how these images have been cropped, the problem is that the images themselves are wrong. Now consider this as something that you don't know about. This is not a retargeting ad. Alright, so I didn't visit this hotel website first. I didn't visit their Facebook page. I have been simply prospected, all right? So these people, this hotel, reach out to me as if I was a new target. And since I never showed before any interest for this hotel, nor did I show any interest for the location of this hotel. Now I hid at least the name, but this hotel is specifically in Bangkok. I never ever expressed any interest in any hotel in Bangkok, nor in traveling in Bangkok recently, at least not in the last 6 months. I didn't even go through Bangkok. And therefore, yes, I'm in Thailand, but I didn't go through Bangkok. And therefore, if it's a first message, why should you send me an ad showing me your rooms? Considering that I never ever expressed interest, first in traveling in Bangkok, second of all, never expressed interest at staying at your hotel. Now, I'm going to be showing you later on how you can see how this hotel eventually targeted me, alright? So how I happen to be in their target or in their ad set, so that you can see eventually a little bit more in details. And by the way, this is something that you can do publicly, alright? Something that you can see by yourself. But let's move on. I mean, another thing is that this ad is a multi-photo ad. Alright, so it's essentially an ad, a post where you can apply multiple photos. But if you go for this setup, for this type of post, never ever used only two images. For the very simple reason that two images will always be showing up like this, one beneath the other. And either you have two landscape images that perfectly fit in this layout, otherwise this is exactly what happened. That the images get automatically cropped by Facebook, and especially in this image, in the first image, I happen to see the ceiling more than a bed. And that's totally wrong. So if you go for a multi-photo post, make sure to use multiple photos, not just two. Otherwise, the layout is not going to be of any help. As opposed to it, instead, just use a squared image or a vertical image, because that's pretty much covering most of the space, especially on mobile devices. That's why you keep hearing that more likely you better use square images or vertical images as opposed to landscape images. All right, so this is the very first one. The second one is the same hotel, by the way. All right, it's just that I've been targeted and I've been I've been receiving messages for this hotel, sponsored messages for this hotel multiple times. This is another one. And by the way, this is a little bit better in the sense that still a multi-photo images, the copy also is different. But anyway, the images are a little bit better because in multi-photo images, they're using multiple photos. Probably too many, that's why it looks like a little bit too packed, because they're trying to essentially put too many photos, as opposed to before where there were only two photos, but too many photos with too many details. As a matter of fact, they try to pack too much information in a very small space, in a very little space, and therefore they've been forced to use very small fonts. Now, if I'm a user and if I have to look at it, and especially considering that I've never expressed interest in this hotel, you have to make life easier for me. And you have to make all the information that you want me to digest digestible. This is not digestible because I have to zoom in with my eyes in order to see what the details are. Second of all, the message itself, I mean, consider the price that you see, promotion, 450 baht a day. For you to know, it's a very cheap price in the sense that 450 baht is around $15, more or less, probably even less, around 12 euros or so. That's pretty much for a night in a hotel. In Bangkok, yes, all right, but it's still a 4-star hotel. 4-star hotel or 5-star hotel, actually no, 4-star hotel. But it's a little bit better anyway than before, all right? And the copy, like I said, is specifically for BOFU, all right? So bottom of the funnel. It's specifically for people who are now interested in booking a hotel room in Bangkok for specific dates, and therefore price becomes quite an important key, quite an important metric. But in this case, like I said before, I never ever expressed interest in this hotel. So why this price doesn't make much sense to me? Not even if you put 100 baht, because I'm not related to this hotel. I'm not related, never ever expressed interest. And therefore, it's a little bit too generic, all right? Now, the third one is, this one, I mean, is a third example. So third message that I received, same hotel. And in this case, I wanted to focus specifically on the copy. All right. So besides the images, I wanted to focus on the message itself. Now, first of all, let's focus, on the English part, of course, because it's bilingual. So English and Thai underneath. It's product centric, same as before. It's just talk about the hotel. The rooms, the hotel, the characteristics and the features of the hotel. So again, this is for bottom of the funnel people. So people who are ready to take an action. Am I? Definitely not. Second thing is no multi-language post. I really wanted to show you this because I keep seeing this as being an error, because every single post that you do on Facebook from your business page, from your hotel page, can be done in multiple languages, and not in this way, but you can simply set up a feature. It's in settings, general settings somewhere. I actually don't remember by heart where it is, but it's in general, somewhere in the general settings of your Facebook page. You need to simply activate the multi-language post. It's just a click away, and by doing so, you have the possibility to enter any messages in multiple languages, and you simply let Facebook decide which language me user will I be seeing. So if I speak English, I will of course see English, but even though I am in Thailand, I don't speak Thai. I just speak a very few words of Thai. And by the way, 80–90% of those words are essentially food. So it doesn't really make any sense. And this is definitely not much professional. And the very last thing, I guess, is the last message. And by the way, this is way better. So we see we moved from a very bad example to a way better example. It's not perfect, but at least it's way better. Now, here we go back to focus on the images, so the creative part of the ad. And now again, it's a 4-image post. All right, so 4 photos, but at least they cover well the space. And you see, it's no longer hotel-centric, because yes, we have 2 hotel rooms on top, but we also have 2 locations underneath. All right, and quite smartly, they also put how far these point of interest are as opposed to the hotel. Why is this interesting? Because more likely, if I need to go to Bangkok, or I want to go to Bangkok or any specific location, the very first thing, the very first reason why I end up at any hotel in the world is because of the location. Therefore, show me the location. So show me something that is related to the location of your hotel, that is related to the location, that is the primary reason as to why I'm traveling to the hotel. All right. So, yeah, like I said, the photos of the location represents the why people travel. And that's, again, the very good thing, at least a way better ad that I've seen across the 4, among the 4 that we just go through. The very last thing is that I told you at the very beginning, I never visited this hotel website before. All right. So this hotel was simply targeting me, prospecting to me. When you go into the ad on the on the top right corner, you have the 3 dots menu. I'm talking about especially the mobile version, but also in the desktop version, you have the 3 dot menu where you can click and you can see why am I seeing this ad. And by doing so, you can do it for any ad that you receive. All right, you click it and you can see why am I seeing this ad, and you see this. Essentially, it gives a little bit of an indication as to why this business, in this case this hotel, has been targeting me, has been marketing to me. So why am I receiving this ad? And a few indication here you can see is that this hotel is targeting people who are interested in hotels and Bangkok. Now, whether I'm interested in hotels, of course, because like I said before, I work in the hotel industry and therefore I'm interested in the hotel. Never ever express any interest in Bangkok. Probably this is coming from, I don't know, probably some flights that I might have searched recently for a sort of layover in Bangkok. That may be the reason. We never know precisely how the Facebook algorithm works and how we end up being part of a specific ad set or target. However, if the hotel is targeting people so generically of people, people being interested in hotels and in Bangkok, that's too broad. This is the very best way of wasting money and throwing money out of the window. People who are, the second line, people who are in the category called frequent travelers. Am I? Yes, even though in this very moment, I mean, in the last year, COVID and travel restrictions, frequent travelers, it doesn't make much sense, all right? Because even though I'm a frequent traveler, or I used to be a frequent traveler, now we cannot travel, and therefore, what is the real meaning of it? And the last thing is trying to reach out to people who speak English and English UK and English US. Now, if you want to be so specific, English UK and English US, why did you write the copy including Thai? All right. So the third images that I showed you before, focusing on the copy of the post, why are you also including a message in Thai? All right, this is it for now. We're going to be showing, and I'm going to be shooting another video, I don't know exactly when, probably next week, and probably focusing a little bit more on the good example. So we try to balance, but at least you see that here it's definitely not a question of technicalities, technical setups. This is pure logic and something that you need to double check on yourself, because it's too easy to say, oh, but this is not me, I will never do these mistakes. Well, actually, I keep seeing these mistakes, and therefore probably a double check might be worth doing. All right, this is really it, and I'll see you again with the next video. Bye-bye.